Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we will be looking at a Mandalorian DLC that could be included in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Teaching Games have confirmed there will be live service post-launch for this game, and we are going to start speculating what DLCs could come into this highly anticipated game. Before we start, I do make Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and other LEGO Star Wars content, as well as some other stuff, so be sure to check that out if you want to, and additionally follow me on my social media platforms linked in the description. Now let's speculate how the Mandalorian DLC could work for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Before we begin, the developers have confirmed there will be 5 missions per film in this game, so we will be sticking to that rule in this DLC as well, although there were 8 episodes in the show. As a result, some episodes of the show will be mashed with others to allow for the whole season to be played out in LEGO form. Another important thing to note is that I have watched the show, of course, and I will be making each level slightly different than how the actual episodes play out, since they tend to do that in LEGO games. Now, without further ado, let us begin our speculation. In the first mission, you will be greeted with a cutscene of the Mandalorian walking into a bar and getting his next job from Greef Karga, and then getting the details from the client. You will see the Razor Crest fly over Arvala 7, the desert planet, and land. You'll begin outside your ship, and as you start to move away, blurgs will come and attack you. You have to defeat 5 blurgs to move on. After you defeat the 3rd blurg, one of the remaining blurgs will knock away your weapon, leaving you to fight with your fists. As you defeat one of them by punching and using a series of combos to defeat him while dodging his attacks, Queel will stun the last blurg. Another cutscene plays as he points you in the direction where the bounty is, and he lets you take the stunned blurg. The cutscene ends as you hop off the blurg. Now, you walk down to the prison where the bounty is being kept and meet an IG unit, IG-11. You and IG-11 will have to defeat 15 guards while hiding behind cover. After you defeat the 15 guards, you are pushed back against the door. More guards come out and bring a cannon. You need to get to the cannon to defeat the rest of the guards. Using the Mandalorian's grenades, you must knock over the wall behind them to distract them, while you steal the cannon and finish off the guards. After you finish off the guards, destroy the cannon to build a giant saw to cut through the door. You rush off inside to find the Baby Yoda, but IG-11 tries to steal him, so you shoot him. A cutscene plays again of you walking back to the ship and seeing it destroyed with a sandcrawler moving away. You jump on the back of the sandcrawler and another gameplay section begins. You will need to climb the sandcrawler using your grappling hook and move from side to side to avoid falling junk. Once you get to the top, a cutscene plays and you slip. Queel catches you, fortunately, and gives you a ride to help catch up with the Jawas. Once you meet up with them, they are parked outside of a cave and tell you to get the egg. A cutscene ends, and you have to get the Mudhorn down to 1 heart using blocks the Mudhorn destroys while fighting you to build traps and weapons. Once it's down to 1 heart, switch to Baby Yoda and use the Force on the Mudhorn to push it up in the air, and switch back to the Mando to finish it off. A cutscene plays of you giving them the egg, flying home, and giving Baby Yoda to the client and getting the Beskar armor from the armorer. You go back to get Baby Yoda. To do so, you start in the street outside the Mandalorian covert, and you need to navigate your way to the client's base of operations. There are civilians you can take quests from once you go back and replay this level in free roam. Once you reach the building, blow up the first wall you see to reveal Baby Yoda and Dr. Pershing. Stormtroopers will come out and try and stop you from stealing the child while Dr. Pershing runs away, but you must defeat the 15 Stormtroopers first. Then, 10 bounty hunters will come after you and try to prevent you from leaving with Baby Yoda. Once you get down to those 10 bounty hunters, Paz Vizsla and the other Mandalorians will come in to help. During this time, you can play as Paz Vizsla. After you defeat the bounty hunters, you leave and the mission ends at last. I do realize that this was a long mission, but I felt like it was the best choice if we were going to fit the whole season into the game. The characters you would have unlocked are the Mandalorian, Beskar Armor Mandalorian, Queel, IG-11, the Child, Dr. Pershing, the Client, and a skin for the Stormtrooper, that being the Remnant Stormtrooper, the Mudhorn, and Paz Vizsla. Now let's move on to the second mission, and that being Episode 4. This episode starts out in a cutscene as you fly down to a lush forest planet in the Razor Crest. You land and go into a bar. You see Cara Dune and follow her as she was eyeing you suspiciously. The cutscene ends as you have to find Cara Dune. You unlock a new ability, Heat Vision, to follow Kara's footsteps, and you find her and she attacks, and you have no choice but to fight her. You use a set of hand-to-hand combos to knock her 5 hearts down to 1, before another cutscene plays and you both are stopped by Baby Yoda after you almost fall on top of him. She leaves and you go back to your ship to repair it, which ends the cutscene. You can either run back to your ship right now, or while replaying it in free roam, you can take missions from the people in the town and bar. You go to your ship, but another cutscene plays as 2 villagers ask you for help to fight the pirates. You agree after being offered the money and finding Cara Dune again. You both ride into the village and agree to help the villagers. As you play as the Mandalorian or Cara Dune when you arrive into the village, you can walk around and ask villagers questions. And from one of these villagers, you will learn about the stolen AT-ST. Switching to the Mando, a cutscene plays of you meeting the widow and her child. You are invited into their home, and you are free to explore their home. Once you are given a plate of food, Cara Dune calls them, and another cutscene plays of Cara and the Mando agreeing to teach the villagers how to fight the pirates. You can either play as the widow and practice shooting, or a villager and upgrade his melee combos. After you hit 5 bullseyes as the widow on a frying pan, and get Cara Dune down from 5 hearts to 1 heart as the villager using your new melee combos, the cutscene plays of the Mando and Cara going into a pirate base and having to defeat 10 guards and using the Mando's grenades to blow up a building. Afterwards, the AT-ST rises and you and Cara have to run back to the village and evade oncoming blaster bolts from the AT-ST. After you reach the village, and the AT-ST stops before falling into the trap, a cutscene plays of the villagers looking scared and the Mando temporarily giving Cara Dune your rifle. From this point on, you can switch between the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, the Widow, and the Villager. As a team, you must defeat 10 pirates before you can get closer to the AT-ST. The Widow and the Villager separate from the Mando and Cara and take on the pirate captain in a quick cutscene. As the Mando and Cara, you have to knock the AT-ST down from 4 hearts of health to 1 using the Mando's grenades and his rifles given to Cara Dune. As the AT-ST is on 1 health, the Mando must use his grappling hook, and Cara must use the grappling hook on the rifle to latch onto the 2 weapons on the side of the AT-ST and pull it into the river, as the Mando throws grenades on it and it blows up. You switch to the Villager and the Widow, having to knock down the pirate from 5 hearts of health. Between every hit on him, you have to defeat 5 more pirates. Once you defeat the pirate captain, the rest of the pirates leave, and the village celebrates in a cutscene. The next day, the bounty hunter finds the child, and you must defeat him using Cara Dune's heavy repeating weapon to destroy his golden sniper in a close quarters confrontation in the woods. After this, the Mando says goodbye to the Widow, Cara, and the Widow's child, and the mission ends. From this mission, you will have earned Cara Dune, and an appearance for her with the Mando's rifle, the Villager, the Widow, the Widow's child, Pirate Captain, the pirate's stolen AT-ST, and the bounty hunter. Now let's move on to the 3rd mission, which is Episode 5. You are leaving the woodland planet and a ship starts to attack you. You cleverly avoid his lasers and get behind him and land hits on him. You must go through this process 3 times to defeat him. Once you do, you realize how badly damaged the Razor Crest is, and you need to land on the remote desert planet of Tatooine. You land in a docking bay and are greeted by the mechanic and her pit droids. A cutscene starts as you tell her you'll get her your credits and tell her to take care of the child, and the cutscene ends. You walk down the road to Tatooine, which is desolate. There are a couple of merchants there that you can take mini-quests from in free roam, and maybe even a cameo from an old Watto himself.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't! What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? I'm a Toydarian. My tricks don't work on me. Only money.
You go into a bar and hear about a job from Toro Callahan, who sees you and asks you if you'll help him. You accept and ride off on speeder bikes. While riding towards the bounty's location, Fennec Shan, an elite mercenary, snipes you off the bike. Toro turns around as the cutscene begins and you hide behind a sand dune. The cutscene ends as you have to rebuild the bike. Another cutscene plays as you tell Toro about the plan to blind her so she can't snipe you guys. Toro and the Mando fall asleep until it's night, and they get on their bikes and ride towards Fennec. Switching between the Mando and Toro, you'll need to blind Fennec repeatedly. Fennec manages to shoot Mando's bike again, but Toro makes it to Fennec. You must survive against Fennec for 3 minutes, and if you do, the Mando will come up and help you double team her, which will result in her surrender. The Mando leaves to go get another bike from Mos Eisley while Toro guards Fennec. The cutscene plays of Fennec showing Toro a bounty puck of the Mando, and he steals it from her as she gets pushed off a cliff. Toro rides back to Mos Eisley. The cutscene ends as Mando is about to take off on another speeder, but he sees Toro going into his docking bay. He walks in and Toro has the mechanic and the child hostage. Using Mando, you have to hit a precise headshot and not hit the child or the mechanic. If you do, you pay the mechanic and leave. From this level, you will have earned Bounty Hunter Pilot, Bounty Hunter Ship, the Mechanic, Mechanic's Pit Droid, Toro Callahan, Fennec Shand, and Speeder Bike. After that, you will have completed the mission, which allows you to move on to the next, that being Episode 6. You fly away from Tatooine, but get a transmission from your old friend Ran. You fly into his flying station and get a job from him, that being to extract a prisoner from the New Republic. You are introduced to Mayfeld, Zero, Berg, and you are reintroduced to Xi'an. You all fly off in the Razor Crest towards the prison ship. You dock, and you all enter the ship except Zero. Once you get in, you need to sneak around and avoid the guards. Eventually, Berg shoots a mouse droid in a cutscene and alerts the droids to your presence. You must defeat 10 New Republic sentry droids before you can move on into the brig. Once you go in there, you have to capture the New Republic officer and find the target, but he activates a homing beacon. You all leave quickly to find the prisoner. You have to defeat 5 more sentry droids before you can reach the prison vault where Xi'an's brother, Quinn, is being held. The team double-crosses you and throws you into the prison and leaves you. As they do, sentry droids attack them and make them run away, and the cutscene ends. You need to use your grapple hook to grab onto the last guard going after them and steal his arm to open the gate. You have to head to the brig and defeat 3 more sentry droids outside. Once the brig is secured, you have to close all the doors, separating the other hunters into 2 groups, Mayfeld and Quinn, and Xi'an and Berg. Xi'an and Berg decide to kill Mando, and Mayfeld tries to get Quinn to Zero in the Razor Crest to escape. Berg heads straight for the brig first, but you manage to surprise him and push him in between 2 doors using a series of combos, and close the door on him, cutting off his horns and knocking him out. You leave the control room to find Xi'an. She throws knives at you, so you need to duck behind walls and roll out of the way to avoid being hit. Then, once you get up close, you can use your Vibro Braid to knock her 3 hearts away. Mayfeld splits up with Quinn to try and triple his score, but the Mando knocks him out and catches Quinn. You fly back in a cutscene and get paid, but throw the tracking beacon off the Razor Crest and leave as X-Wings bomb the station. From that level, you will have earned Ran, Mayfield, Berg, Zero, Xi'an, Quinn, the New Republic prisoner frigate, New Republic officer, and the New Republic sentry droid.
Finally, the finale of the Mandalorian DLC has arrived. In a cutscene, you will fly away from the exploding station and get a message from Greef Karga. He asks for one last job, and that is to get rid of the Imperials on Navarro. The Mando flies off to retrieve Queel and his blurgs with IG-11, who was repaired, and Cara Dune. You land and are met by Greef Karga and his bounty hunter escort. You unload the blurgs with Mando, the child, Cara, and Queel, and all set out, and IG-11 stays with the ship as Mando doesn't trust him. While you trek across the terrain, you must hide from the winged creatures trying to attack you and shoot them down. During this time, you can switch between Mando, Cara, Queel, Baby Yoda, Greef, and the bounty hunter. Eventually, Greef gets injured but is healed by Baby Yoda, which has unlocked a new force ability for him, which is Force Heal, obviously. The bounty hunter then attacks Mando, but Greef orders him to go away, and he does. They decide to do a new plan in a cutscene, and have Queel go back to the ship with Baby Yoda while Mando, Cara, and Greef go into town. They meet with the client, but he is executed by Moff Gideon and his death troopers. Moff Gideon lands his modified TIE fighter and gives a long speech, while you attempt to escape through the vents to meet with the armorer. You switch to Queel riding back to the ship on a blurg, and being chased by scout troopers on speeders. You have to evade their shots and get into the Razor Crest. And once you get close, the blurg will slip and drop Baby Yoda. And after it drops Baby Yoda, Queel will go flying and land in some mud. The scout troopers go back to the village with Baby Yoda and wait for the all clear, but as IG-11, you need to defeat both of the stormtroopers and steal a speeder bike to charge into the village and defeat 10 more stormtroopers. Once done, the Mando, Cara, and Greef come out to help, and you get to switch between any of them. The first objective will be to take out 10 more stormtroopers. Then, you will have to assemble the E-Web heavy repeating blaster from the bricks on the fallen scout trooper speeders nearby. After you assemble the E-Web, eliminate 5 more stormtroopers with it. After you do so, a cutscene starts and the E-Web overheats and you need to retreat inside again. You find a vent and jump down through it. When you do, you'll slide into the Mandalorian covert in front of the armor, and she gives the Mandalorian a jetpack and a signet quickly. From there, you can switch between the armor, the Mandalorian, IG-11, with Baby Yoda, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga. I also want to mention that the Mandalorian will now have an alternate skin with his jetpack. You will have to complete 3 series of puzzles using IG-11 to lock 3 doors in front of the door to buy you some time. The Imperials unfortunately bring a flame trooper and melt down the doors you just put up. You have to eliminate the flame trooper from behind cover using the new over-the-shoulder view in this upcoming game, and 5 more stormtroopers. When you do, you all leave except the armorer, who goes back to work on fixing the doors. You jump on the lava boat and meet the TheAsTROLLmech unit with the arms and the legs. You control the boat using anyone, and you can avoid hitting rocks and falling debris. Once you get out of the cave, stormtroopers attack, and IG-11 gives the Mandalorian the baby and the jetpack as he chases the stormtroopers away. Afterwards, Gideon's TIE fighter attacks the boat. Using Mando, you have to equip the jetpack and fly after Gideon. Eventually, you'll catch up to him and have to button mash to throw grenades onto the TIE's wings. After you button mash 3 times, you can let go and fly down. A cutscene plays of the Mando taking Child from Cara, and he walks back to the ship and laughs at Queel still stuck in the mud, which concludes the mission. At the end of this mission, you will also have earned Greef Karga, the Bounty Hunter, a Blurg, an appearance for IG-11 with Baby Yoda, Imperial Troop Transport, Gideon's TIE Fighter, an appearance for the Mandalorian with his jetpack, the Armorer, Flame Trooper, and Moff Gideon. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it that you stuck around for this one. I also additionally wanted to just say that the Mandalorian Razor Crest is not going to be part of this DLC because it will be an unlockable code when you get for the set, so it wouldn't make sense for it to be a part of the DLC. And I also somewhat recently made a video about every possible character that could come into the game, and it's a fun, great little speculation video that's not really short at all. It's like 25 minutes, but if you enjoyed this, I definitely suggest checking it out, as I think you'll enjoy that as well. Thank you for watching. I am TheAsTROLLmech, and I will see you in the next one. TheAsTROLLmech out.